Yo, welcome to the Amaury Love Podcast, episode 21, Small Steps. I'm not gonna hold you. Every week that I jump on stream, I'm always so nervous. I'm like, how this gonna go this week? uh, and if you watching me on live right now, like you actually watching the video portion, if you see right here, my cheek is kind of swollen because I guess I got like an infection or some shit above my missing tooth. So my face look fat. I'm not getting fat. I've been hitting the gym. It's just this shit got swollen yesterday, and this shit kind of hurt. And there's a piece of me like, fuck, bruh. I know I talk a lot, and I'm gonna be dreading this motherfucker when I gotta speak on a pod because it hurt. But I don't want this to derail me from goddamn, doing the pod and stuff. And I'm excited because because I've been thinking like, all right, what like I said last time, I'm trying to kind of find my footing in this space or whatever, and I was like, man, fuck it, I'm definitely gonna lean into the nerd shit. I mean, I got Nerd Life tatted on my stomach. I've been fucking saying this shit for a minute, and I finally learned how to clip. I didn't know that you could actually do it through YouTube directly, because unfortunately, based on my circumstances, but my technology, like my laptop is a decent laptop, but it's what's the word I'm looking for, bruh? Like, it shit is a little older, so, and my internet is not the fastest speed internet. So this is even why with the audio version, which, check me out, episodes 1 through 20 in the next couple of days, I'm gonna upload the not 1 through 20, but I think it's like 14 through 20. I'm gonna upload the rest of the audio like all at the same time, and then that way I could be up to date. But when I was looking at my upload speed, I was like, nah, bruh, this shit kind of, I didn't realize how slow the upload speed is. I'm like, this is why it takes so long for the shit to upload through the thing or whatever. But I'm gonna make sure that I'm being a little more organized, and also being able to give y'all more content, like as far as shit that I kind of want to talk about. I'm excited for, because man, it's funny because this week I was thinking like, man, what can I actually talk about or whatever, right? And what are things that I could like speak of, like from like a pure place where, I mean, I always speak from a pure place, but something that more so like excites me, right? Like that I'm like, this is dope, because, like I said before, I don't want to talk about nothing, no drama. Again, I'm not the political voice, and I don't want to, what's the word? I don't know. Then how do I articulate it? Like, I just feel like it's irresponsible for me to talk from a novice perspective things that are important and that should be, because even me as an observer, and I be tapped into certain things, I'm like, I want to be informed, but I think the more powerful voices and the people that matter, that speak that speak from a real place, and know what they're talking about, that's who should be talking about those things, right? And it's funny too, because something that's been like in the forefront of my thoughts based on the things that I've been experiencing, and just that's been like a constant theme, is like like the younger versions of myself. And last episode and past a couple episodes, I was telling y'all for a long time I've been operating from that 26-year-old, and nah, he bullying. And then I'm like, damn, have I been neglecting the younger versions of myself? And in what spaces, what were things like when I was a kid? What was I like tapped into? You know what I'm saying? And what are things that came from like this like pure loving place or whatever the case may be that I could genuinely talk about, right? Obviously, I always loved hip hop. I always, was a TV person, and what I'm saying, even with shows and things like, the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Martin, and the Wayans Bros, and shit like that. Drawing, right, which is actually something I'm gonna walk back into, because I think I shared this with y'all before. There's like a story that I'm kind of like working out. Damn, I left the fucking shit in the car. But there's a book, right, that I got recently. It's called How to Make a Manga, right? and it's by the dude that created the manga JoJo's Bizarre Adventures, right? And I just got to like chapter 4. Um, it's funny because normally I consume books through Audible, but this book's not an Audible, and I bought this a minute ago, and I remember leaving it at the beach somewhere when I was still back in Miami, and I was like, "Fuck, bro!" And I ran into it again, and I'm like, "Oh no, I need this because it's interesting the way that it breaks down what is a manga, right? And more so because I want to improve my writing, right? Like as a storyteller and even with stuff that I've been watching lately, I'm so fascinated with the way that writers or how people tell stories and are able to create, like, you know, hey, I finished Power 2, by the way. Oh my god, I can't wait. I'm gonna call Jasmine a little bit. We're gonna talk about Power 2 and do a little season 2 wrap up. Cause that shit was crazy. I didn't expect for it to end the way it ended. And I didn't even, like, the moment it finished season 2, I was like, oh my god, I want to start season 3 so bad, but I want to wait till I talk about it on the pod, and then I'll, you know what I'm saying, I'll start it, because I feel like I don't want to like jump the gun, because then I'm gonna be thinking about stuff. And like, this girl Jazz keep revealing stuff to me early, and I'm just like, oh shit, like, you said this person died, she ain't died yet, what's going on? Stuff like that. But anyways, like, but you know, tying that into what I was just talking about, the way that writers are able to take these characters and not only create a universe, but have distinct characters, and based on who they are and what they experience and how it determines how they, you know what I'm saying? So thinking about again, I don't know if this is going to be, because I wrote it like it was a script first, and I'm like, how do I novelize this? And then I'm like, you know what, fuck it, let me try and turn this into a novel thing. And then I'm like, here, Google Gemini, like, hey, take the script. How does this look like as a fucking, like if I was novelizing it, right? And I think I need to start physically reading books more. Cause I think it actually works really good as a comic as well if I were to make it, but I don't know. I think that's a skill set that I have to develop, because I haven't drawn in a long time. And I don't have like fundamental drawing, abilities, right? Like I used to just look at something and then draw what I'm looking at, right? Versus like, oh, this is how you scale a person's face, and how you know what I mean? And you know, if I were to draw, my drawing style is like anime, right? Because that's one of my first loves when it came to like animation and shit like that. It's funny, it makes me think of music too, because I remember when I decided, like, oh, I'm gonna learn how to record myself. And when I, like, you know, I have like the homies that, you know, they figured out how to do it there on their own, right? So they, you know, I piggyback off what they taught me, right? Like I remember Travis, he's such a fucking genius when it came to just production and doing what he was doing, right? And Fat Boy as well. And I think Fat Boy started to learn how to produce and make beats first, and then I think he put Travis on game, and then Travis mastered that shit. The man's amazing. And then, you know, then when I was like, all right, fuck it, you know, I gotta save some money, I want to record myself, because, you know, I just wanted to be like the rapper. Apparently it wasn't that good. But fucking, so when I learned from what the homies taught me. But then I remember when I went to school for it, there's certain found like principles and fundamentals that wasn't even in the forefront of my mind, right? That would help with when you're creating your own way of how to go about it or whatever. So I want to take that same approach to drawing. Like, okay, how do I actually, you know, like, let me figure out the fundamentals, and then, you know, I could lean into, you know, learning what my style or whatever would look like or whatnot. But the story though is shit ill. So like, I think I'm on like 3 chapters right now, and this is something I've been like for a minute. I've had this, like, I had it in like a script form, because that's what when I went to school, I took a script writing class, and I thought it was easier to write it as a script, because I don't have to go, because what I lack in as a writer right now is how to go into the nuances of describing everything that's going on. Like if you're watching a movie and someone walks into a room, and, you know, there's details on the walls and the way that the person's moving and creating the atmosphere. As a writer, I know how, or, you know, as a creator, I'm like, all right, this is what I want to happen. I want the person to walk inside here. This is the person, you know, dialogue, and dialogue, that's the most natural thing I could do, right? but creating the atmosphere in like a novel form. I guess reading all these audiobooks helped me, but I need to start listening or reading more, I guess, fantasy books that actually telling the story versus like, oh shit, I just started reading there's a book Charlemagne the God kept referencing called Techno Feudalism. I just got to like chapter 4 in an audiobook. Man, that's a hard ass listen. I'm not even gonna lie. I think the dude is Russian or something. He got an accent, and as he's telling sharing the book, and oh man, it's crazy because it talks about like how capitalism changed and like how now everything's like cloud-based content. Now you have like AIs communicating with AIs, and he was giving an example of how like he was talking to his goddamn to his not was necessary. He's talking to Alexa, and then Alexa communicated with the other AI, and it's like, what the fuck y'all having conversations? I'm butchering what they was explaining, but pretty much it's like it's collecting all this data. Like every time you search something or look up something, your algorithm is curating it to you, but then at the same time as it's curating to you, it's also recommending things to you at the same time based on what they think that you're curating. Or again, I don't know how stuff working the back end on some Illuminati shit, but I don't, you know what I'm saying? Things could be kind of forced to you or pushed through you through the algorithm. So it was interesting, right? I was like, oh, this is ill. This is probably a book that I'm gonna have to listen to a couple of times to like fully grasp it, because I think a lot of things were like going past my comprehension. But it's really good. It's really good. But anyways, I'm like 3 chapters in on what I'm writing, and I took a pause here because these, again, I wrote the 3 chapters like a script form a while back, right? And me reading this manga book now is so fire because I'm able to like, one of the things that I just grasped, right, and that I'm starting to do now is because I already had an idea of the characters, right? Like I know the like 6 main characters that I'm the protagonist, the supporting characters, the bad guy, and then like the hidden bad guy, right? That's just a general fucking thing on all mediums and shit when it comes to like animes or cartoons or fucking stories where it's like, oh, you got the bad guy, then the bad guy, he not really bad guy, kind of turns to anti-hero, then there's another bad guy, so I kind of had this like laid out in like in my mind for a minute. But one thing I never thought about was going into very nuanced detail of what not only each character, like for instance, it was like this thing, damn bro, I wish I had it's like a character sheet, right? So what you do is you write obviously the character's name, the age, the height, the race, the personality traits, his history. These are things that you might not even touch upon in the book or at that specific moment, right? But these are ways to give you a reference on to keep continuity with the character that you're making, right? And I found it so fascinating because I was like, oh, that's fire. Because if you do that for every character, even though it's probably tedious in the motherfucker, because I can't imagine if you got like 20 characters, you gotta make 20 character sheets with each one of these motherfuckers. But it was really fascinating to like read that and the author explain why this is important and how it could give you more of what's the word I'm looking for? Like it'll just give you more how do I word it? It gives you more context to the characters that you're making and gives you a reference point so that you know how to have the characters like communicate with each other. And I'm just like, oh, this is fire. Like I got really excited like earlier today. I had to like, that's what I kind of like I have my little morning routine, whatever. But so I went to my bookstore or whatever and like sat down and I was just writing the character sheets and then finishing up the cleaning up the chapter as well, because now that I got those first 3 chapters, which I wanted to, it's kind of like the beginning of setting up where the characters are at, what the character is, all this type of stuff. Now like I'm pausing that and I'm able to go into like, all right, let me make sure I have everything down for each one of especially the main characters, so that way I could have a blueprint for each one. And it's super interesting, like just even the inspirations and stuff that I'm able to like draw from and stuff. Not to give too much away because I don't want to give too much away now, but I'm kind of approaching this how like George Lucas approached Star Wars, where like Star Wars is an amalgamation of the all the favorite things, or the favorite genres and stuff that George Lucas like. Like you could see the Western reference in Star Wars. You could see the samurai reference in Star Wars. You could see the classic hero's journey in Star Wars. You know, the old mentor and the young character, and then you know what I'm saying. Then you have the good versus evil. Like you have all these different pockets of storytelling and that he pretty much combined together and created his own unique story and experience. So I'm doing that in my way with the things that I genuinely love, right? And making a story where you'll see, you know, just how like if you've watched Naruto, you would see how it's clearly influenced by Dragon Ball Z, yet it's completely different, right? Like Goku and Naruto are two completely different characters, but you can see the similarities, right? How a character goes from a young character and grows into an adult and goes, you know, but their journeys, their motivations, the way that they, their personalities are completely different, right? But there are parallels. You get what I'm saying? Or like how Sasuke is a Vegeta type character. You get what I'm saying? So like, just figuring out how to do, man. I got excited. I was like, oh man, because I've been wanting to do this, but I was telling myself, I'm gonna do this when I'm 40. Truth is, I probably will finish this when I'm 40. Or at least getting like, you know, doing the world building and all that type of stuff. But this is an ill thing to keep my creativity occupied while I, you know, build myself back up as a man and do, you know, do the things that I need to do to create a solid foundation for myself. It's funny, I think about this now, and I'm like, man, like I you know, I do operate from a place of gratitude, but I don't recognize, well, I haven't been recognizing my actual self-worth, right? Because for a long time, I felt unheard, you know what I'm saying, or unseen. You get what I'm saying? So there's a piece of me that doesn't realize like my value. And I'm speaking about this in past tense. I don't want to like manifest this now, but there's a piece of me that doesn't recognize my value or you know what I can contribute and what, you know, what my importance is on this planet. You get what I'm saying? So I tried, you know, I'm doing my best to like kind of shake that off, because it's like, damn, for a long time I just felt like. It's crazy too, cause it's almost like an oxymoron, low key, because I do feel loved. I have like my friend group has been the same for the past 23 years. You know what I'm saying, for the most part. All my day ones that, you know, same group chat, same 5 people. I've known them since I was 12, 13 years old. And even certain people that came along later in my journey, like, you know, when I make like. I know a lot of people, but I have like a tight knit circle of friends. Like these are my brothers. You know what I'm saying? And certain women that came into the circle too, or whatever the case may be. Even people I've dated before we broke up, but we still have a, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like once you love somebody, like that love is there. But this is what's the word? Like, you know, just because I don't have to possess you. You know what I'm saying? Or we don't have to be in a relationship to have still maintain our friendship. Whatever took place, you know, served this purpose, and, you know, we either grow together or grow apart, whatever the case may be. But at the same time, like, you know, so I'm grateful that I actually have real friends, like real people that are in my corner, real people that love me. You know what I'm saying? Simultaneously though, because all of us have decided to take different journeys in life that resulted in, like, you know, got some of the homies live in North Carolina now. So, you know, some of the, you know, one of the homies live in Orlando, you know, someone lives in Texas. Like, we all kind of like separated within our different paths, but still remain tight and circle. But so my physical reality, right, I'm like a wandering samurai. I'm like Rurouni Kenshin. Right, I've been dolo a lot and intentionally. You know what I'm saying? Like, I guess I am an introvert for the most part, which is not necessarily a bad thing or whatever the case may be. But at the same time, because I might not have the same access to the homies because we all have different responsibilities. You know, now I'm an adult, bro. I'm 36 years old. So, and all my friends we all in our 30s for the most part. So, people have kids now and wives and responsibilities and stuff. So when you're, 13 years old, your homie's knocking on the window, hey bro, we about to play basketball, come on side. You know what I'm saying? And we would just kick it all fucking day, every day. It's not the same thing. We don't have the same luxuries because everyone has their own, responsibilities. And then the fact that everybody moved, I feel like I was the last one to actually move. I mean, I feel like it was. I think Cameron moved like at 20, and everyone kind of started, walking into their purpose like in their early 20s, and I kind of, I was chasing my dream, but not thinking about the actual future. So anyone younger than me listening, I probably preach this a lot of times. Like, make sure that you setting a foundation for your future. Like, I think that's very important. I think I neglected that, and I was just throwing paint at the wall for such a long time, thinking things would stick, and I don't regret anything, to be honest. Like, I don't, everything happens the way it's supposed to happen. Could happen any other way. However, if I knew what I knew now back then I'm more than confident then some of the choices and decisions that I made, I would have, done it different. But, and again, going back to what I was just saying, I think it all stems from a place of like not feeling seen or heard. You get what I'm saying? Now, I remember oh man, I remember in middle school I had this crush on this Dominican girl, right? And I remember her best friend was like, oh, why don't you she's like, man, you need to get fresh, like you don't be dressing or nothing like that. And then back in those times in middle school, I wasn't getting fresh at all. I was wearing like these dusty ass baggy pants and like wrestling t-shirts and shit. And coincidentally, how God worked, God's universe worked. I remember the moment she said that, I was like, damn, man, I wish I could get from my mom. Ain't gonna buy me no fucking clothes, because I think at that time, middle school, we wearing fucking Fat Farm and Fubu and Sean John and shit like that, and Rockaware shit like those were the brands that were like, all the kids was wearing and shit like that. So I remember around Christmas time, my big cousins, my auntie, rest in peace, Didi Sandra, she had brought me like all the hand-me-downs. It's like these 3 big ass trash bags full of hand-me-downs, bruh. And them shits had Fubu jeans and Sean John shirts and all type of shit. I remember like, oh my God, this girl just told me. And I thought I was the freshest person ever. Used to have like the baggy Fubu jeans, and they had like the characters on the back right pocket or whatever, or both pockets or whatnot. Man, that shit, I used to wear them pants every day. I had like the same, I would rotate the same 3 pairs of jeans and a white shirt, whatever, you know what I'm saying? And that's so funny. That's so funny. It makes me think now, this is why I like to always be fresh, like I like or be clean. It was a subconscious thing. Once that girl told me that, I said, oh no, this is why girls don't like me, because I ain't getting fresh. It had nothing to do with my personality, nothing to do with, no, it was because I was fresh. I wasn't fresh, which is a complete lie. Had everything to do with my confidence. But getting fly gave me that, a little bit of confidence or whatever. Or even when I started working with Dixie by the flea market, I was making like a little $150 to $180 every Tuesday. And to go to, get paid, I went right to the flea market for the cops some shit. And it did something for my ego. But yeah. Anyways, so it's funny how these things that took place in my youth and when I was younger still have some type of effect to me up until this day, right? And I'm doing a better job of like recognizing that and like, all right, now you got to outgrow these things, because this is also affecting my livelihood, right? This is also affecting how I decide to approach situations. Oh shit, no, my bad, I don't need this shit. This whole this affects the way I approach situations. This affects the way that, even from financial aspect, bro, I've had a job since I was like 15 years old, right? There's no reason why I shouldn't have been saving and preparing. But then again, like, also having an understanding of like, you didn't have anyone being able to give you like sound advice on like what to do with the money that I was making. Parents might say one thing, but then also, if you lack the information or see how it could actually affect you in real time, you're not gonna actually go about, you might go about it just the way you think it's supposed to go. I mean, I remember, it's funny. It was a significant difference when I left Winn Dixie. I probably like, I had like fucking, what's it called? What's the check they give you when you fucking, you lose a job with, the, damn, bruh. Shit not coming to mind. But I'm over here getting, the free check, as I look for another job or whatever. And I started working at a Lorca at the call center, and I seen the significance and like, oh shit, this is way more. I didn't know I could make this much money. I never had $600 in my pocket ever. So, and then I noticed, I'm like, damn, I rushed it. Like I rushed into moving out, right? I was like, fuck that, I'm 20. I just broke up with my girl. Some other girl from the past was like, man, I'm trying to look for a roommate. I'm at the crib like, man, fuck that. I'm gonna just do it, like whatever. Let's see what happens. I get to move out. I'm with a baddie. I'm living with a baddie, but you know what I'm saying? Like we not together, but whatever. So I'm just, and in my head, I'm like, oh, this is dope for the rap story. But it's like, nah, bro. I'm thinking like, bro, if I could talk to the 20-year-old, like, bro, what you doing, bro? You got a decent job. You don't have to leave your parents' house right now. As a matter of fact, what you should do is help them out even more than they doing right now, and just rack up. Because by the time you're 25, 26, you'll have some crazy ass savings, and then you'll have the ability to invest in, you know what I'm saying? Because like, you want to create that financial freedom for yourself. I feel like my homies was way more disciplined than me, because I feel like my homies in their 20s, they were hella disciplined and did what they needed to do. So now that they in their 30s, they could go travel and go, do, live free, you know what I'm saying? And provide for their family. Versus me, I'm like, fuck that. I'm finna get tatted every other week. You know what I'm saying? I'm finna get all the Jordans I drop, I'm buying them. And people like, oh, what? Why are you? Nah, because, it's only 150. Nah, that shit's crazy. Now you go buy a pair of Jordans, bitch, 230, 240. But I feel like I needed it. I guess those things came from a place of lack. Like I felt like I lacked, because I lacked so much, especially during like my teenage years, right? So like, then I finally got a little money in my pocket. I wanted to burn out my desires, which I guess is a good thing now, because as an adult, I don't give a fuck about shit no more. Like I kind of, in my universe, kind of curated the shit that I just regularly wear anyway. Like y'all see me wear the same fucking hat every day for the most part. I got my work hat, and then I got my regular hat. You know what I'm saying? I'll wear white shirts every day. Like I'm not really tripping about I gotta be fly. I gotta buy Balenciaga. Nah, that shit. I would never buy Balenciaga. I don't care if I had $30 million in my fucking bank. I would never buy Balenciaga at all. Now, Pharrell Louis collection, I mean, I might get one little thing, you know what I'm saying? But the fucking, all the other shit, nah, no, sorry. But yeah, you know what I mean? All right, so before I go into what I want to talk about, because all right, so, where I start? Should we talk about power first? No, I'm gonna talk about this first. Then I'm gonna call Jazz and see if we can talk about power. So, I seen a movie for the first time, and I've been wanting to watch this movie. But when the movie came out, I was dating someone at the time that was like super. And please, for my people that have they dogmas and stuff like that, don't attack me, okay? Like, because again, I respect everyone's point of view or their relationship to God and how they communicate with God and all that stuff, right? But the person I was dating at the time, she was like super Christian, for lack of a better word. So anything, like if I talked about the universe, or I talked about crystals, or I talked about fucking astrology, she was like, no, I don't want to hear that or whatever. That's blasphemy and all this type of fucking energy, right? So this movie had came out at the time, and I wanted to see it so bad, but I never got to see it. And the movie I'm talking about is the Book of Clarence. All right, so the other day, right? Because now that I kind of took a step back on the music aspect, and I'm like, all right, let me kind of dive into shit that I used to love. I used to love watching movies. I went through a whole phase where I was just buying DVDs and going home to my first little apartment and running through seasons of like Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and then Martin, and about the Wayans brothers, and about Jamie Foxx, and I was just going through like this is before I had Netflix and shit like that. I didn't even know Netflix, because it's like 2011 2011, 2012. I'm sure something along those lines was out, but I like physical media, especially now that people are trying to take it away. I'd rather buy a physical copy of a game or a physical copy of a movie than have it on digital. Because what happens if your internet go out? What you gonna watch? Especially if it's not downloaded on your PlayStation. If you just dependent on streaming, you got no internet, you ain't got no entertainment. But anyways, right? Fucking so I seen the Book of Clarence, right? I was on Hulu and I said, oh no, I need to watch this now. And this is so cool, right? Because I had just watched the Odyssey when it came out. I did watch the Odyssey either the first or second day after it dropped. No, I'm lying. It was like a week after it dropped. But I walked into the Odyssey not expecting anything, right? And you know, the Odyssey visually takes place in like biblical times, right? Because was it biblical times? I don't know, because you know, talk about the Romans or the Greeks and all this type of shit or whatever the case may be. So it's relatively around the same time frame, right? So when I start watching the Book of Clarence, granted, I at the time I remember hearing the reviews and wanted to watch it so bad, but I never got the opportunity to watch it because, again, the person I was dating, she was tripping on it, and I wanted, and you know how when you dating somebody, that's y'all thing. We watch movies together, so I ended up not watching it. So I seen that it was on Hulu. I said, oh no, I gotta watch this now, man. When I tell you, especially after watching the Odyssey and kind of like, oh, this is kind of like the same time frame, but it's so ill because it has, like, I love the story. I love the fucking story. I don't know where to start, bruh. I have no idea where to fucking start. But the fact that this is a primarily black cast, right? You have all these characters, these biblical characters, and I'm sure people are like, oh, aren't you into comedic spirituality? That doesn't mean that I don't have an appreciation for the Bible and the characters in the Bible and stuff like that, regardless of how I personally feel. I'm not even, you know what I'm saying? I don't have to, like, whatever my point of view is my point of view, but that doesn't mean I don't have an appreciation or love for it, right? So the fact that you have all these biblical characters, right, and I feel like they're being portrayed how they're supposed to, because obviously in those time frames, right, and in that area, you dealing with people that are African. You know what I'm saying? They, and oh my God, that little twist at the end where homie was oh my God, hold on, I'll get to that in a second, right? So, when the movie opens up, and I'm like, oh, this is a comedy, because I didn't even know what type of movie it was. I didn't I like the main character. I've seen him in different things or whatnot. And I know he's been in comedies and stuff, but I didn't realize it was a comedy. So like that opening scene where he's on a chariot racing Tiana Taylor's character. I think she's played Mary Magdalene. And just a footnote, right? I mean, I'm sure she getting her praise and flowers and all that shit, but Tiana Taylor is such a good actress. Because there's a part in the movie where, like, it's fucked up. That was, like, stoning her and shit like that. But the way that she yelled and she was showing pain, like, you was like, damn, that feels real. Like, it feels real the way that, you know what I mean? Because I like how this movie did a really good job of balancing comedy and at the same time, not comedy, giving, like, heart and sentimental moments and then being like, oh, shit, that's crazy. Right, like it was able to give you those feelings in this movie. And I'm so, oh man, so bruh, I just thought the movie was phenomenal. And the story about this guy, he's in love with this girl, and he's in love with this girl, but he owes her brother money, and if he doesn't pay her brother back in 30 days, he's gonna kill him. And the character, he doesn't recognize his self-worth. There's a conversation that the character's mother and the love interest had, and I forgot what she said, but it was powerful to me because she's like, oh, he looks at himself as an ant and doesn't realize he's whatever. I'm butchering the word again. Granted, I'm sorry. I'm not a professional movie breakdowner. This is just my first impressions and just like, you know what I'm saying? But she said something along those lines. I was like, damn, that's how I hope someone look at. That's how I feel about me. So anyways, the dude was like, man, all right, well, fuck it, because he doesn't and this is around the times of Jesus, so Jesus is walking around doing his ministry, healing people and all that, and he doesn't believe it at all. He's like, nah, I don't. He's like, that's a trick. I don't believe in that shit. And oh man, there's some funny ass scenes. I get to that in a second. So he's like, all right, fuck it. Wait, no, what does he do first? He's like, oh, I'm gonna be the 13th apostle. So his twin brother is a part of the apostles and stuff like that. And he goes to, you know, to the apostles, and he's like, man, I'm trying to be the 13th apostle. And they kind of laugh at him like, oh, bro, you're a thief, you sell weed and this, that, and the third. It's funny how it's how they depicted trapping in biblical times is fucking fire. I was just like, oh, this was written so well. This was written so well to kind of like to because you know what also has, it shows you how even through different times how we particularly do the same type of things. I feel like Sinners was a perfect example of that as well. How you're seeing things from, I think it was like the 1930s where Sinners took place, right? But how even though times were different and circumstances were different, how there's still parallels of how things still are to this day. So anyway, so he goes and his brother's like, you know, his brother shits on him like, oh, you're a nobody and this, that, and the third or whatever. And he kind of snap on his brother like, what? He's like, how you saying I'm a nobody, but you gonna leave to follow this man and leave your mother and your brother, you know, whatever. And there's certain like subliminal stuff that I feel like there was, oh man, like I wish I could give like a real in-depth detailed breakdown because it deserves, but I'm sure there's people that really do that. I just want to talk about how I feel about it and what I fucked with. There's a part where it's so dope because there'll be little things that they'll do, right? I remember there's a scene where you see like the Romans like fucking policing the fucking air because they're in Jerusalem or whatnot, and he's like, have you seen this man? And then that he pulls a scroll and it's like it's a pharaoh or like an Egyptian, and I'm like, that's fire, because obviously, because again, like a lot, like when you look at these other movies that depict Egypt, they always try to depict Egyptians of like the people that are there now or white folks, like how the movie The Gods of Egypt got all these white folks playing Egyptians when Egyptians, especially in the times of antiquity, were clearly African people. You know what I'm saying? Like even the way that's depicted on the walls and you know what I'm saying? But that's a whole nother thing. I'm not gonna get into that because then it's gonna sound like I'm biased to my dogma. But just the reality of it. But I love that it's like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It depicted this African in the Egyptians. And like later on in the movie, he's like sneaking out of somewhere and you see him and he's like, shh. And then he like this. I'm like, what was that? What was that meant to point out? But at least what I took from it is it's like, oh yeah, you know what I'm saying? Because that's a true thing. You know, as a matter of fact, I would love, because I think Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan are gonna make a movie about Mansa Musa, which that's gonna be super powerful, right? Because these are the stories that need to be told. But I would love for a director or somebody to make a movie based in that time frame in the time of antiquity and have it actually like historically accurate, not this like, because even when you look at a movie like The Gods of Egypt and stuff like that, these are stories, because there's a difference, right? Because you know, Egyptian mythology and Egyptian and Kemetic history are two different things, right? So when you have all these different hieroglyphs or Medu Neter, right? That's the actual word, but we'll just say hieroglyphs for the context so people understand what I'm saying. When you have all these different hieroglyphs and people translating different things, you have to realize some of these things are like spiritual texts that has some type of esoteric meaning, and then some of these things are actual. It's like people's journals and accounts of what was taking place during those times. There is so much. And you gotta think about it. This Kemet was over 3,000 years, and then they have it separated in like the Old Kingdom, the Middle Kingdom, and the New Kingdom. And that's not what they called it. These are just the people that researched this stuff and then found, because if you go back to the Old Kingdom and go to like the first pharaoh, which his name was Namer, right? Irony, because he sounds like Namer, but Namer is an African man. If you look at his face, he's clearly an African person. But that's 3,000 years BC. right? And then it talks about the creation of Kemet. Even though yes, there was Sumer at the time that was also that probably was a little older, but it wasn't a complete civilization. How you had these different tribes come together and then start building, what eventually became ancient Egypt. And then obviously when you think about, because you watch something like Ancient Aliens, they're like, oh yeah, the aliens built the pyramids. So all right, so we've never seen aliens in our life. Yes, there's UFOs, there's unidentified flying objects, which could be the government, could be some technology. We don't know what these things we see in the sky. We've never seen the alien, but you're gonna give the credit to something we've never seen before and not give credit to, which is documented. This is history, right? It's not a myth, and it's not some random story. This is actual history, right? And even the names of the pyramids of Giza, Khafi, Khufu, and Capri. Capri's the last one. I might be the name off a little bit, but these are clearly named off of pharaohs and people that they built it at the time. And then they'll try to be like, oh no, the slaves built the pyramids. That architecture and the way that every stone is built and that the pyramids align with Orion's belt, I beg to differ, but I don't know. I'm not finna, that's neither here nor there. But anyways, seeing the goddamn pharaoh hop out the window, and I'm like, or when they showed the scroll, like, we're looking for this man, I was like, that's gas. That's really gas. I love that there's a lot of subliminal messaging, and there's a part that, damn, I forgot who did it, but somebody got to the main character's head and went like this and like rubbed their forehead, and I was like, oh, they're talking about the third eye. I was like, yo, that's oh my god, the Book of Clarence is amazing. It's amazing. Damn, I want to watch it a couple more times because that was such a good movie. I was like, I had watched it up to the point. My bad. Let's backtrack. Because I get excited. Oh man, it's so dope. So, motherfucking all right, so they deny him. They don't. Oh, they're like, oh, if you want to be a part of the 13th apostles or whatever, you go to this place and free the slaves there and bring the slaves back. So, the main character is homie, and they go to this place where they have these slaves that are like training and stuff like that or whatever. And the guy's like, all right, well, if you want me to free all these people, then you have to fight the most my strongest slave or whatever the case may be. And what happens? All right, so they get in a fight, and then the fight is funny as hell. And it's funny because this character, the way how everyone shits on him throughout the movie, he always it seems like he's always into some shit, and he eventually like conquers it and comes out of it, right? And he doesn't even know how. It's funny because he for somebody that is a non-believer, for somebody that doesn't believe whatever, but it's like he was still moving through God, right? I feel like God moves through you, right? And through the people around you. So he fights a dude or whatever, he wins, but the guy's like, nah, I'm not freeing everybody or whatever the case may be. So he ends up just now I forgot the brother's name. So he ends up getting free, and then they leave. They come back to the apostles or whatever, and they still don't let him be the 13th apostle, right? So bro's kind of tight, and he's like, you know what? He's like, because he's under the impression that like Jesus is capping, right? Like with the miracles and things that he's doing, it's not a real thing. That's what he believes. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna be the next Messiah, right? So he's like, all right, bet. So he's like, man, look, I need to figure out everything that Jesus did. Let's go visit Mary. That was one of the funniest scenes. He goes to Jesus' mama house, right? They open the door. Oh my, I forgot this actress name that plays her. But so he's sitting down with Jesus' mom, and he's like, look, you ain't gotta lie to me. You don't gotta tell me about, like, I'm just trying. What did Jesus learn to do all these miracles and trick these people? She's like, this is real. He's like, nah, you ain't gotta cap with me. Mind you, this is not how they're saying it. This is just my interpretation of it. He's like, nah, you ain't gotta lie to me. I know this ain't, I don't believe in this stuff, whatever the case may be. And she's like, no, this is actually real. And it's a funny scene where she look at Joseph. And he look at Joseph. He's like, so So you believe that, like, cause you know, like you was a virgin, and and something that was interesting that is actual historic fact. If it like if you look at, you know how the Bible is a translation, right? So the the word for virgin in like the oldest version of the Bible, in the language that it was written, means unmarried, right? Or I forgot the other word, but it doesn't necessarily mean virgin, right? I mean, but when it's translated through translation, you know, we get to the English language, it eventually becomes the word virgin, but it means unmarried or I forgot the other term or whatever the case may be. But they say it in the movie, and I was like, oh my god, like who wrote this? Like who wrote like, which I should have looked up before. I really just want to talk about it like as natural as possible. I didn't do no research or nothing on this. As far as like, you know what I'm saying, because everyone did such a phenomenal job. Like the actors, the story was so powerful to me, right? Again, this might not necessarily be my dogma or whatever the case may be, but there's so much truth in this movie that I was just blown, like my mind was blown. I was like, wow, this is one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. Because I love religion, right? Like I actually, you know, believe it or not, I actually love religious talk and text and stuff like that. I feel like there's so much wisdom and knowledge that you could gain from it, and these are all ways to you to connect to the source, for you to connect to God. Oh man, so I just thought the messaging was so powerful. So the fact that they threw that little Easter egg in there, I was like, oh, that's real though. Like that's a real thing. And I'm just like, I was mind blown, like, wow, that's fire. Like whoever wrote this, because you know and I mean that, I guess that's why comedy is important. I feel like comedy is 50% true and 50% comedy, right? So the medicine was so much in the candy that I was just like blown away. I was blown away. And it's interesting how you have this character that has no faith, yet by the time the movie, which I know I'm jumping ahead, but by the time you get toward the end of the movie, he developed this faith inside him. He became a believer by being a non-believer, which is such an interesting thing, right? Because boom, he starts whatever. So he go talk to Jesus' mama, whatever. And he's like, all right, look, we're gonna start capping. I'm gonna do these fake. I'm gonna pretend that I cured your blindness. I'm gonna pretend that I'm breaking people from death. So then goes through this montage of like him doing all these miracles and stuff, and people giving him money, and he's like, oh shit, I'm gonna be able to pay this debt, and you know, I'm gonna be worthy so I could have the woman of my dreams and all this type of stuff, right? It's interesting because he was moving through this from a not a place of ego, but obviously he's trying to save his ass, right? And it's selfish because he's basically tricking these people into believing that he's another Messiah, right? So, but as he collects all, you know, he gains all these followers, and he amounts all this money, and you could see that his conscience starts eating at him. Like you could feel that that like God is speaking through him, like, you know this isn't the right thing to do. So like all the money that he got to buy so he could pay back the person that he owes, he takes that money and frees all the slaves that he wasn't initially able to free like the first time. Right? And I thought that was a powerful scene because he knows, bro, I'm fucked, bro. I'm gonna die. Whatever. He's like, I'm a nobody anyway. I don't know what that felt, some type of way. He's like, I'm a nobody anyway, so I think this is the best thing to do. This would be the best way for me to, you know what I'm saying? Like this is the right thing to do. So he does that, and then that's where it gets kind of crazy because he goes back to the town. I guess like he sees the girl or whatnot, and then her brother pulls up, and there's like, oh fuck it, we gonna get him or whatever. He thinking like the girl tricked him or whatever to get him, but then as this commotion is happening or whatever, the Romans come and they're like, oh, they're looking for Jesus, right? And he's like, oh, you know, people think that you're a Messiah or whatever the case may be. So then they fucking capture him, and it was some bullshit. I'm skipping stuff, and there's probably stuff that I forgot to acknowledge and stuff like that because there's a lot of crazy shit that happens. But I don't want to spoil too much. please, if you've never watched the Book of Clarence, just go. You watch it. Just go watch it. Just go. It's one of the, like I said, it's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen. So there's a scene that I thought was super powerful, and I thought it was such a beautiful, like the subliminal messaging was fire. Where he's like, because again, he's been capping this whole time, but everyone believes that he's like this Messiah character, and he knows he's not, right? And he was doing this for whatever intentions was, but people are treating him that way. So when he gets captured and he's saying like, oh, look, I was lying, I did all this because I was in love with this girl, whatever the case may be, he's like, all right, well, they seem not to believe, they believe that you're the Messiah. Look, what I'm gonna let you do is, if you walk on water, right, like they open this freaking cage thing, and if you walk through this water and come to me, then I will be, he's like, I'll be the first Roman to be a believer, some shit like that. And he's scared. He's like, bruh, I've been capping this whole time, like I know this is not gonna work or whatever. So he starts slowly walking, like he puts his first foot in, he's like, I guess I'm gonna drown. Like, it's over with. So he steps on the water, and he's standing on it, and he's like, what the fuck, like, am I tripping? Like, no, there's no way. And it's funny too, like the way that in the scene, like as he's doing it, you see like the clouds kind of separate, you see like the sunshine, and he's like in disbelief, like, oh man, the actor's so fucking good. What's the actor name, bro? I can't be doing this, bro. Not the actor's name, bro. Cause he's in a bunch of stuff, like he's in goddamn Get Out and all. Yeah, Lakeith Stanfield, bro, he's such a good actor, cause you see it in his eyes, like the pain and all this type of stuff, where he's like, he's in such disbelief, and he's crying like of like excitement, like what the fuck, like, and man, this was an amazing cast. I'm not even gonna lie, they killed the story, the writing, the director, all y'all did y'all shit, and I'm so sorry for being so late. For my dumb ass girl, like, no, you shouldn't watch it, it's blasphemy, that's they're making, I'm like, nah. Anyways, so he starts walking, and then like the Romans, they're like, oh, this is trickery, they jump in the water, and they all start drowning and shit like that. And then the guy capped, because he said he'll fucking let him go if he walked on the water, or he'll join him walk on the water. He didn't. So then they that's when they part where they go like crucify, they're gonna crucify him. And there's some like real impactful scenes, because like throughout the whole movie, his twin brother was kind of like shitting on him, and then they had like the sentimental scene, like him apologizing and stuff like that. He's like, oh, I love you, brother, or whatever. Like that was a dope emotional scene. I'm not giving it justice by the way I'm explaining it. And the same thing when the woman that he loves, he like gives her a kiss through the fucking cage or shit like that, and she's like, you know what I'm saying? Because like it's funny because this whole reason for all of this shit was for her. You know what I'm saying? So, oh my god, so what are the funniest scenes, right? To me, it was hilarious. So, first of all, I don't know why Doctor Strange is in this movie. Benedict Cumberbatch, why are you in this movie? And it's super funny because because they actually showed like Jesus in the movie, right? So Jesus sees this white dude, like a homeless dude or whatever, and he blesses him with like this abundance of money or some shit like that. So like every time his hands open, like just money keep coming out and shit like that. And like he walks into this place, it's like, oh, can y'all clean me up or whatever the case may be, because he's all like dusty and all fucked up. So when they clean him up, he looked like the white depiction of Jesus, right? So as he's walking, like people are treated like, oh my god, look at him. so at the ending part, right, which is it's fucking an emotional scene too, because like the dude, you know, Clarence, they have him with like the cross on his back walking, and he's fucking being whipped while all this fucking, you know what I'm saying, while he's walking pretty much like for him to get crucified or whatnot. And that's a hell of an emotional scene, because you see the people that love him, and they're bearing witness to this shit, and it's fucking horrible, right? But what did get a chuckle out of me was, right, because the white guy that looked like the European Jesus was on the cross, and you see someone painting the white guy that looks like the European Jesus on a fucking painting. And I was like, that's probably what fucking happened, because you know in the Vatican too, gonna talk about shit like this. Anyways, I thought that was funny, and I was like, yo, these writers are so good, so fucking good, so good, so good, so good. Um, yeah, bro, I love the Book of Clarence. That was such an amazing movie, such an amazing movie. I was like, oh my god, bro, I really enjoyed that. Like, I truly enjoyed watching that movie. I'm gonna watch it a couple more times. Cause I remember like the first day I watched it up to the point where like the Romans came in and they captured Clarence, and then I'm like, nah, I gotta wake up early for work. Bro, that's all I was thinking about. Like, I can't wait to get home and finish this movie. But yeah, that was the Book of Clarence. Man, please, if you have not watched it, make sure you watch it. It's so fucking good. All right, hold on. We gonna get to Power Season 2. I finished. Man, let me before I call Jazz, cause she gonna start revealing shit. Can't even concentrate. Season 2 of Power was fucking great. I love season 1 of Power, right? And I'm mad that I'm kind of getting better at this, streaming and clipping. I wish I could have been a little bit more organized, because I think now, instead of like reviewing it as I watch it, I'm just gonna watch. Whenever I finish the whole season, I'll give like a recap or whatever, and just take my own little notes, just so I could do this a little better. But season 1 of Power was so dope to me, right? I've never watched it before. I think the writing was phenomenal. I think they didn't waste the character. Every time they introduced the character, it was tied to one character in some specific way. And then when they start, it gets interesting when there's characters that haven't interacted with each other yet, and then they put them in the same space, and they're like, oh shit, right? Like when they first introduced Angie, I'm like, whatever. This is just the generic girl from the past, and she's gonna come fuck stuff up. I didn't know she was working for the police. I was like, oh, hold up, what the fuck is going on? So there's a the way that it was written was really good, right? Season 2 is so fire to me, because that's when like 50 Cent gets out of jail and he's on. Oh my god, 50 Cent is on some time and he don't give a fuck. Like, even the end, I was like, what is going on? It's funny. I was watching Effective immediately, and I think DJ had mentioned something along the lines of like 50's like Jason. So I was like, oh, he might die again and come back. So again, I'm only on season 2, and there's so much season, so I definitely look forward to fucking watching like the rest and shit like that. But man, it like 50 was on some bullshit, and all right, hold on, let me call Jazz, cause I texted her. I'm like, hey, look, we can do this recap. I fucking use Gemini. I'm like, hey, give me a fucking outline, cause I know the shit that I'm gonna forget and stuff like that, so I could kind of go through like certain talking points. But man, it was so fucking good. The ending was like, oh shit, cause like, hold on. Let me damn, I don't remember where the last thing we talked about was when they went to when Angie and when Ghost took Angie to Miami.
Your call has been forwarded.
She probably got in trouble. I'm just kidding. Jazz, you hold me right now. All right, fuck it. We doing this. All right, look. All right, I think what was the episode? Was the last thing that I talked about? All right, so episode 1 is like called Shots. That's when this ghost is trying to keep Truth open, and then the white dude. Oh man, I wish I was a little more organized, because I love. Again, all right, so it opens up. Ghost loses Truth, right? And then the white dude who's one of the characters from fucking The Flash, I forgot the dude's name in The Flash, but he buys the club, and then that's fucked up because the person that was working for Ghost, he ends up being like a higher manager or something like that, so he now Ghost works for him, and whatever, it's a bunch of bullshit, right? And meanwhile, oh man, it's so much is going on. So what I'm trying to think, what was the last thing that I talked about? Man. Okay. So I think, because I bench watched the last 4 episodes back to back. So let me see. Okay. So when Ghost and Angie come back from Miami, right? At some point Tasha finds out that he went with Angie to Miami. So and that shit get Tasha hot. I ain't gonna lie, I got a love hate relationship with Tasha because I feel like Tasha is down as fuck, but she on some bullshit too, and she don't want to hear nothing he got because again nothing worse than a woman scorn. So she don't want to hear nothing from fucking Ghost. So but she find out and then she kick him out. She kick him out the house or whatnot, right? And I think and then it's crazy too because like there's like a subplot of like his son is like what's the word, like he started acting up or got getting in fights in school or whatever, but he how you call it, he wasn't able to because he's like, damn, what's up with dad or whatever, right? So it was one of these scenes where like he pulled up to his dad's house and his mom mad like, why did you go to him? He's like, oh, that's something I want to talk to dad about. And then she's like, what? And then when she finds out what it is, it's like, oh, he like two girls like him, he doesn't know to pick. And then that shit, I know inside that pissed her off. He's like, oh, so what did you tell him? It's like, I told him to do better than me, right? So, and it's crazy because in this season, like obviously in the show, the two closest people to Ghost is Tasha and Tommy. But in this season, they lose trust for Ghost because Ghost just keep lying, thinking that he's doing the right thing, right? But he's lying to them for whatever the reasons is. I mean, one, he fucking around with Angie because man's blindly in love with her, and they're not realizing that she, because when they find out she's the police, that's when shit get crazy. He's like, oh shit, and he's like, now I'm gonna, all right, you're the police, now I gotta keep an extra eye on you. And then when Tommy found out he's in Ghost chest, and then fucking Tasha's like, oh, what was it? She's like, oh, she's like, yeah, you're gonna stay with her, you're gonna keep fucking her, because I see how she looked at you, she love you. She's like, and you keep fucking until I tell you not to. So this is all this goddamn drama going on. And damn, what happened? I'm trying to think, because at one point in time, the white girl that Tommy was with, Ghost gives her money to slide, to like leave and shit like that. And then she comes back, and then but when she comes back, Tommy he all in love. Oh my god, she's back, whatever. And then it's funny because the scene where she's like laying, he handcuffed her and shit like that. Like, it was like fucking or whatever. And then she handcuffs him. He's like, hold on, I gotta tell you something. She's like, I was stopped by the feds or something like that. And he loses his goddamn mind. He was hot. That man was hot. What? He's like, get the fuck out of here. Ooh. So anyways, hold on. I'm trying to my bad. I'm trying to give like a recap of everything I've watched so I could talk about these last 4 episodes because the shit was wild. Let me see. So, all right. So I guess I'll start from here, right? Because this is like the wrap. This is kind of like the ending or whatever. And forgive me, the next time I'm gonna have it way better. So thank y'all for y'all patience and and even want to listen to me in their capacity. But so it was so crazy that they did the setup to where I know this is more toward the end, right? But because Angie, she's fixated on getting Tommy locked up. Now she's trying to get Tommy locked up. Meanwhile, Kanan, 50 Cent is such an amazing actor, bruh. I'm not even gonna hold you. This man, he plotted on everybody. He's like, all right, I'm gonna get the Puerto Ricans, I'm gonna get the Iranians, all the people that were working for Ghost. They had him turn on him, and he's like, all right, and I'm finna get he's like I'm gonna get Tommy to he's like, Tommy, trust me, or whatever the case. I might be butchering this part, but and I think Ghost, he kind of peeps game like, oh, he's turning everyone against me, this, that, and the third, or whatever. So all these type of things are going on. This girl's trying to lock up Tommy. Kanan got everyone against Ghost, and Ghost is like trying to get his club back. All this wild shit is going on. So, and again, forgive me, I might be jumping ahead and jumping back, but this is like the highlights of that. I thought I was like, yo, this is kind of wild. So there's a point where Ghost is like, all right, we gonna I think he talks to Tommy like, hey, Kanan is he's the one, like he's the one plotting and this, that, and the third. So he's like, all right, whatever, like Tommy, he's like Ghost. He's like Kanan will trust me, or whatever the case may be. So he goes, to Kanan like, man, fuck Ghost. Like he lied, this and the third. And then Kanan reveals some shit that Tommy actually didn't know. And he's like, hold up, I didn't, you know what I'm saying? But he's still, he's still loyal to Ghost or whatnot. So whatchamacallit, this man, well, I forgot what, I don't know what took place first. It was this, or because as this is happening, right, there was like that drug, but they end up catching, because the what's bro name, god dang, the fucking Lobos. They go to meet up with Lobos, right? And the police is on them. So they go meet up with Lobos and they do the freaking like the sting or whatever the case may be. And they arrest Tommy, they arrest Lobos and whatever. So Tommy tripping like, yo, Ghost knew this was gonna happen. He was gonna let me get locked up. He thinking like Ghost betray him. Meanwhile, Ghost is like, nah, like he kind of planned everything out. Like, nah, I'm gonna make sure that like Tommy's gonna be innocent. He's gonna be free, and they're not gonna be able to put this on him. So he got some lawyer. It's funny. The lawyer's from Think Like a Man. I forgot the actor's name, but he's in that movie. And I thought, yo, Ghost is slick as fuck. And then he walks in the room. He's like, oh, yeah, I know your ex-wife or ex-girlfriend has some type of addiction or whatever, and I see that you're constantly supplying her, this, that, and the third. And he was like, oh, shit. He's like, well played. And he's like, all right, bet. Well, we going whatever. So he plotted everything to make sure, like, I'm going to make sure Tommy get out, right? And nothing could be held against him or whatever the case may be after the fact, right? But they got Ghost out. Now, all this is happening. Tommy tripping, right? And then Angie, she wants to get him so bad, right? So there was one scene where like they have like they tried to interrogate him at first. He's like, what? I don't know what's going on, man. I stumbled in the wrong place. And then the police green as fuck. They brought the man mama in and like that she got an addiction or whatnot. And then I guess it's some legal thing where they can't listen in unless they're told or some shit like that. So like Tommy's like, yo, shut the fuck up, like because he knows his mom was an addict. Man, so all this fucking wild shit is happening, right? Simultaneously, when did this part happen? Because as all this stuff is going on, Ghost is also figuring out like, yo, there's some weird shit going on with the books in the club. There's some offshore company that is like it's a holding company that is managing the money. Like there's being money funneled through an offshore account, this, that, and the third, or whatever the case may be, right? Simultaneously, the white dude, he's getting a fucking, he's going through a divorce or whatnot. So I guess Ghost plotted everything so he could like share the information to the girl or whatever, and then he found out that, oh, I made more than my 20%, and this was whatever. So he ended up getting his club back. I think that happened more towards the end or whatever. So I thought that was ill. That was like a nice chess move. Like, that was fire. That was fire. So, oh no, see, my bad. So I think the when Tommy gets out of jail, that's when they like, oh no, Kanan has been, pulling the strings and this, that, and the third. Mind you, as all this is going on, Ghost, which is revealed at the end, right? But he pretty much eliminated everybody, like on some fucking not Assassin's Creed, what's that game called? Hitman, right? He took out all the main players except the Puerto Rican dude, where he fucking like, he's like, yo, Lobos, whatever, is after us. And then he was playing it because I guess Lobos has a rival, like a gang, like a Mexican gang, like the Spider thing or whatever. And he was leaving the cards on them so he could kind of put it on them or whatnot. And then the cliffhanger of the episode, you come to find out that freaking god dang, Lobos knew, like, nah, I knew it was you, Ghost. But anyways, so whatever, the dude freed Tommy out of jail, plays Angie, whatever, right? Cause even though like, I know Ghost loved Andy, but he wasn't gonna let his dog, like he was not gonna let his dog sit in jail. Like nah. And she's like, oh, you saw the file of, cause you know they had the sketch that they initially got, and she initially got the sketch because she ended up hollering at the dude's daughter, but she did this like unsupervised or there's no permission or whatever the case may be. But so because she did some shady shit, to get evidence, like they had to throw the shit out. And then Ghost like, man, look, we got everything we wanted. I'm no longer with this girl. Goddamn, you know, like we could move this and the third. And she's like, nah, I don't trust you. And now she know that he's Ghost. So it's like, ah, damn, this is kind of crazy. I was like, oh, I'm like, now I'm wondering how this is like. I can't wait to see season 3. But so boom, so mind you, all this shit is happening. The Ghost kills everybody, right? And then and then the Puerto Rican dude flies out or whatever with his family and whatnot, right? And then Kanan, he's like he has Kanan meet him somewhere because he had Tommy like, oh no, we're gonna meet here, this and the third. So he goes, and then when he gets there, it's just Ghost. So then there's this like, you know, I guess for lack of a better word, like a boss fight where Kanan and Ghost like go at it. That shit felt like the end of like a 90s movie. The man hitting them with a piece of wood and they're all fighting and shit like that. You know, the classic, oh, he got a gun, nah, knock the gun out and whatever, and we fight for the gun and whatever. And then I forgot how specifically what happens, but Ghost ends up knocking out Kanan, and then he like dumps fire all over and then sets the place on fire and then leaves. And oh my bad, I just skipped something fucking hella crazy, right? I think it was the end of episode 9 or the end of episode 8. So Sean, right? Kanan was like, hey, I need you to take out Ghost. And you know, Sean looked at Ghost like an uncle, so he's like conflicted. So like that moment that he was in the car and he had the little open thing, he was gonna shoot Ghost, but the police like came to his window right at the same time. I mean, right at that time, and he's like, all right, nah, I can't do this right now. So out of nowhere, Ghost is in Club Truth, and then Sean comes from behind him and he has like the fucking silencer behind his head, and then they have like a fucking back and forth, and I guess he reveals like, oh, so how long have you been fucking Tasha? And then it kind of like threw him off, and now all of a sudden he like spin around, take the gun. He's like, what? He's like, this not for you, Sean. He's like, you need to go. And then Sean tried to apologize. He yelled at his ass, get out. That shit had me laughing. I didn't like the way that he screamed was a little exaggerated, but it looked like it was like, bruh, like what the fuck, you really gonna try to kill me? He's like, your dad ain't shit. He's like, your dad is setting you up. He's like, you know, if you shoot, he's like the residue. He's like, you don't got to change your clothes. You got this, that, and third. You're pretty much being set up by your dad. So whatever. After that scene, Sean leave, and then he go to his dad to give him the gun. He's like, man, and he over here venting or expressing himself like, I forgot exactly what he said, but he's saying like, man, you had me set up, and then you was gonna have me set up this and the third. And Kane is so evil, bro. He's such an evil ass character. He's like, man, you right, son. And I forgot what he said, but he shoots. Oh, I did not expect. I mean, you kind of expect it because of his character, but that's something that I didn't actually expect. Or he shoots his freaking, he shoots his son, and I was like, damn, I didn't think he was gonna die, right? Cause like, so first I'm like, oh, he shot him. All right, he probably gonna like bleed, and they'll take him to the hospital or some shit like that. Then he hit him with the headshot. I said, nah, that's fucked up. Damn, bro. I'm like, they killed Sean. And it's funny because later on in the actual episode, he later on in the episode or in the next episode, his wife or his Sean's mom calls 50. She's like, yo, I haven't seen Sean. He didn't come home last night. He's like, I don't know where yet. Oh man, it made me laugh because the way he sound is like he being believable. I don't know how to explain it, right? he sounds believable, but his facial expressions and the way that he's going about it, you know, he's saying it like he's capping, but he's like, nah, I don't know, like I ain't see him. This, that, and third. But I was like, damn, they killed him, bro. I didn't expect that. Now moving forward, I know everyone's on the chopping block on this TV show. They killed Sean, you know. And then whatever. So all this happened. Sean died, and that's when the fight with 50 Cent and Ghost happened, whatever, after the fact. And then so you know, Ghost is back at Truth. He got Truth back. Tommy comes, and then they have like a standoff because he's like, oh, so you didn't tell me. I mean, you lied to me about this, and you lied to me about that. And then they both pull guns on each other, and he's like, bro, he's like, we got to out. He's like, no, this is your dream. He's like, I ain't trying to do that. This is, you know, this is what I'm gonna do. He's like, man, he's like, we gonna separate, whatever the case may be, and they kind of go their separate ways. But then like the cliffhanger of the season, right? Which I thought was so fire. The cliffhanging of the season was so fire, where they so again, like there's one point that Ghost kills everybody and he blames it on this like rival gang that was beefing with Lobos back in Mexico and whatnot, right? So the Lobos, he's like, he knew it was bullshit, right? So because he got stabbed in jail or whatnot. So boom, this Lobos fucking calls Tommy, right? And you know, this is Tommy got his happy ending. He's walking a dog, he's with his girl, he's like, oh, I got my little happy ending. Nope. He get a call from Lobos. It's like, hey, he's like, I want you to be my man, just like you're gonna be the connector, whatever, but before I do that, he's like, you gotta kill Ghost. And like his face was like, oh shit. And then that's how the freaking that's how it ends. No, this is a scene where like, damn, cause something along the lines of like Angie and Ghost, like I forgot what specifically took place, but you could just tell shit is kind of rocky, and he got everything, but it's like, nah, this shit's about to hit the fucking fan. He's like, I lost my best friend, you know what I'm saying, Sean. Wait, did he find out Sean died? I think so. But yeah, so like now I can't wait to see season 3, because you know at some point Tommy and Ghost about to, you know, reconcile and figure out what they got to do. You get what I'm saying? We know Kanan not dead, but clearly he's not dead. I've been spoiled, you know, because I used to, all the shit that I watched, whatever, when they talk about shows, they've been talking about certain things. So I'm just excited to see how season 3 go, and I'm definitely gonna do a way better job of giving like my little breakdown or whatever. Damn, I really wish Jazz had came through, but you know, everyone got their own stuff going on. It's not that important. I'm not that important. But yeah, that's Power season 2 wrap up. I can't wait for season 3. And I'm so excited because my mom called me today. She's like, do you know about the Book of Canaan or something like that? She's like, that's what you watch? I'm like, no, Mom, I'm gonna see book 2 or something like that. I was like, nah, Mom, I'm watching season 2 of Power. I'm not even nowhere near the other spinoff series, but I didn't realize there's so much spinoff series, so I can't wait to like dive in and stuff like that. It's interesting too because I seen 50 Cent had a GQ interview and he's talking about like different characters and stuff that he played throughout, which is dope because there's certain movies that I didn't realize that he was in. Like I didn't see the Expendables movie that 50 Cent was in. I was like, damn, I would love to see, like, just to see 50 in that cast of like action heroes and stuff like that. But whatever, he was talking about, he's like, man, shit, what's up to me? He's like, I want to kill Ghost. He's like, we'd have it. It'll be on to this day. And I'm thinking it makes sense because the writing is so good in the show, and like you, especially after watching season 1, going into season 2, you already have an attachment to the characters, so you kind of care what happens, right? You know, every person got their person that resonates with them, whatever the case may be. So you kind of see, you know, you have whatever character you're rooting for, characters that you don't like. Like at first I was fucking with Angie. I don't fuck with Angie. This girl, nah, I don't fuck with Angie. And I actually, I feel like Tasha's so hurt in the show. Like she's so hurt because she love Ghost, but Ghost doesn't love her the way he loves Angie. Because there's a part where like, Ghost gets in like a car accident or some shit like that, and Tasha goes gets him or whatever. But then Angie pulls up and he's like, "Oh look, I ain't had no idea she was coming or whatever the case may be." And I guess Tasha saw the way that Angie looked at Ghost or whatnot, and like the next scene they're in the car, she's like, "So what is it about her? Like what is it?" You know what I mean? And that's the worst thing you can do. Like, why you know what I mean? As a man, you know what I'm saying? You just seen the girl you fuck, like, oh my god, you fucked over on this girl for this girl, and now she looking like, what's wrong with me? Like, but no, that shit was so fucking dope. That's Power Season 2 is great. I can't wait for Season 3. I don't know if I'll talk about it on the next episode of the podcast, because I think what I'm gonna do now is just watch the whole season and then kind of give my insight, or I don't know, or maybe I should just watch it episode one by one, because that'll be easier for me to talk about what I thought was like dope and shit like that. I don't know, or even like, because I was even thinking too, like, man, I can make because when I clipped the Odyssey and I clipped Spider-Man, like me talking about it, I was like, damn, you know, I actually can make a video. I kind of just wish my limitations supported for me to be able to make the videos, like how I think would be dope or whatever, and I could kind of like put clips in and shit like that. But we'll see how it goes. I don't want to not get my, you know, I don't want to make excuses, but I also want to make sure that like I could do it and it's not a thing where it looks ugly, some shit like that. Now, so that's Power Season 2. So something that I thought is so fucking dope, right? Again, I'm kind of like, I'm leaning into my movie TV show right now, right? Because I still haven't talked about Doomsday. I still haven't talked about X-Men 97. The Wolverine game, which looks crazy. It's a bunch of dope stuff going on. But the first thing that I want to mention, right? I think I was telling you guys this before. Hold on. Now, earlier I mentioned that I had went through a phase, like when I first had moved out, had my first little apartment or whatnot, where like every day I'll get off of work, I'll go to Walmart and they had like this bin of like $5 DVDs or whatever, or they had like the seasons of certain series. So I had bought like Fresh Prince, you know, I was like, all right, this check I'm buying Fresh Prince season 1, and the next check buying season 2, and then them 2 weeks was me just running through the season and shit like that every time I get off work or whatever. I had to sit in my living room, smoke, and fucking watch Fresh Prince, right? Again, this is kind of before like how crazy or how accessible streaming is now. So recently, and damn, I'm surprised that not so many people talking about this. There's a Martin spinoff coming out called The Vernell Hill Show, right? Which Tommy Davidson is the lead, and it's so interesting. It's so dope because, all right, first we gonna fucking look. I forget that I'm on the computer. Hold on. Let's see. This right? Oh my god! Hold on. I'm gonna click on the video in a second. Wait. Pause. Hold on. My bad. It's so dope to me that in 2026, it comes out this year, right? They're making a Martin spinoff show based on a character that appeared one time. Tommy Davidson's character, I think, appeared for like a 2-part episode or whatever the case may be. And I think it's so fire that they're making a spinoff show and Martin appears in it. I mean, now that they're older now, whatever the case may be, but it doesn't matter. And when they was talking about it, I thought it was so dope that they're essentially, it's based on the Vernell Hill Show was a talk show in you know the 2 episodes that he appeared in or whatever, right? So they taken this as a spinoff, and they're taking this as a spinoff. Damn, can I play the audio? Well, I'm gonna play it in the background, and then I'll let it vibe, like the mute. All right, better. This straight. I hope I don't get no copyright. So they taking Vernell Hill's character that he was in a 2-part series and making a whole show based on it, right? It's crazy. Tommy Davidson still look mad young, bro. So I was just like, oh, this is so dope. And the show is a talk show, And what he was explaining was that they're actually gonna have people come and like be guests on the show, and it's, you know, it's treated like a sitcom. You know what I'm saying? So it's so, that was so fire to me that this is something that they're actually gonna make. It's so random because it's something I wouldn't expect. Like they was like, oh, this is just a character that appeared one time. That's like if they took you know, in the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, what's the brother name, bruh? Because they fleshed out his character in the actual Fresh Prince show, or in the show Bel-Air. That the dude that played one of Will Smith's best friends in Philly. Now I forgot. Don Cheeto's character in the Fresh Prince. That's like if they took his character and made a full TV show just based on his character right now, because he only appeared in 1 or 2 episodes. So it's ill that they're taking. This is so dope. All these characters, all these guests that are going to appear on the show, I guess as themselves. I could be butchering it or whatever the case may be, but the fact that, and then it's a Martin spinoff, that Martin is gonna play Martin in the show as a guest or whatever, because I don't know if he's a main character or whatever the case may be, but that is so amazing to me. Like, I think it's so dope. Hold on, let me see if I'm play a little bit of it, just enough so I don't get copyright. For
his own moment in the spotlight.
Is there room for something like that now? I think so.
The camera came on. I ain't say nothing that was on the script.
Do you have a pool?
Don't have a pool.
But we got a 10-mile lake out back. Call it Lake Varnell. Yes, catfish are delicious.
He was trying to not laugh, man. It turned out to be a classic because that was our real relationship, you know?
Dead beans and gravy. I ain't too lazy.
It was the most wonderful thing for me. It's a responsibility too, and so I do the best job I can for everyone.
Oh man, that's so fire. That's so ill that they chose to make that they chose to let me hold on. Let me just go back. I think it's so ill that they chose to make a spinoff off of that. And then, you know, again, like, I think I really love sitcoms. I feel like I wish more sitcoms were, I mean, I don't know too much sitcoms, because like the last one that was new, it was 2. I really liked the Mike Epps one on Netflix. That's just funny as hell. Damn, what was it called? I forgot. But Mike Epps, the Upshaws, hilarious, fucking hilarious. But the one I was disappointed in that they didn't, the one that I was really disappointed in that they didn't, that they should have got greenlit a season 2 was Papa's House. Papa's House to me was so fire. It was such a great show. It was I was so invested in it, and I wanted to watch. And Damon Wayans is one of my favorite comedic actors of all time. You know what I'm saying? Like, I grew up on Damon Wayans. So and even recently, I went through from time to time I'll go through my little stand-up comedian thing where I'll be at work and I'll just put a stand-up comedy on and just listen to it or whatever. So I was listening to a couple of Damon Wayans' old stand-ups. I was like, yo, he's such a genius when it comes to comedy. But Papa's House was so good. It was so good, and I was so disappointed when they didn't greenlight the season 2 or whatever the case. That didn't make no sense to me whatsoever. But in turn, we got the new Scary Movie. So hey, God working mysterious ways. But man, the art of the sitcom and just sitcom shows in general, it I don't know. I wish that would make some type of comeback. I know now things are so different because of just how social media is set up, how a lot of people are more focused on live streaming. Shit, I'm a part of this right now. This is a podcast. And even now it's different because back in the day, if you wanted to watch a specific show or whatever, you'd have to wait till 4:00 at this time to watch the show, right? Now when it drops, it just drops, and that's when you tap in. Even though I feel like, especially with, because like right now the Breakfast Club is live streamed in the morning on Netflix, right? I don't see why, when something's premiered for the first time or the first day, why they can't have it as a, okay, let's say we're premiering the new episode of Power season 17. Okay, it's gonna be live streamed at 8 o'clock on Monday, and then after that initial stream at 8 o'clock, then it can be accessible to the world or whatever the case may be. I don't see why they can't do something like that, because then what it would do is it would gravitate viewers and have everyone tapped in at the exact same time. Because when something comes out, like when the X-Men 97 drops, right? It'll drop at whatever. When the episode drops, you could watch it on your own time. That's the convenience of it. But if a X-Men 97 episode, like if the finale was fucking being released at 9 p.m. on Disney Plus, like live, and then after 9 p.m. is when you could stream it and access it whenever you want, I think it would have everyone tap in at the same time. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know if that would be a thing, because I could only imagine. It's just like a movie now, right? Like when Spider-Man Brand New Day dropped, people buying their tickets. That first day you had to go watch it at whatever time it was available for you. And so I don't see why we're even though we don't actually, cable and satellite TV is not such a big thing. I think older people. Like I was talking to my mom. She was saying, yeah, your dad's watches wrestling on DirecTV. I said, I still got cable, because that's how he watches it live or whatnot. So I wonder if whatchamacallit, I wonder if that would be a thing, or if that would be an effective way to gravitate everyone at the same time. The only thing that would suck is when people would start competing within that space. And not suck, but you know what I'm saying? Like, all right, well, I'm dropping my episode at 8 p.m. on Monday, and they're dropping their episode at 8 p.m. on Monday. Let's see which one gets more viewerships or who's tapped into who. Because then it turns into like, I'm better than you and you're better than me, this type of thing, or whatever. Maybe not. Like, I don't know. I'm overthinking it, but I think that would be dope. Or if something like, because if you are Netflix or HBO Max or Apple TV or any of these streaming networks, and maybe there is a space where, because they all have their individual shows and their individual movies or something like that. So when something new is releasing, or they say they have several shows that have new things being released, what if there was a time frame like, oh, starting at 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. all these new shows are dropping, but we're gonna drop this episode's at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever. And after it streams, you could access it. But if you're a fan, or or you're very invested into the show, I don't know how. Man, is Love Island like that? I don't watch that shit. I don't know what's going on Love Island, but I'm just saying that's such a show. That's a show that people are so invested in. I hear people talking about it a lot. I'm sure that when the episode if it premiered at 8 p.m. exactly live, before you're able to just click on it and access it or whatever, I'm sure everyone would be engaged all at the same time. But then again, I don't know. What do I know? Yeah, I think that I don't know, it's just an idea. Because again, this was going back to the sitcom thing, right? Like, I remember coming home and being excited to like, all right, can't wait till whatever time so I can watch Wayne's Brothers, and after Wayne's Brothers it'd be whatever the case may be, and so on and so forth. Then 4 o'clock Dragon Ball Z at 30 minutes. I know we don't live in the same world, but it's so much more access. Like, I have YouTube on my computer, my PlayStation, and my phone. So like, if something was playing and I was out, or I'm at the gym at 8 o'clock, all right, let me hop on the Stairmaster for these 20 minutes, and I'm gonna put this right here, put my headphones in, I'm gonna listen to this. So I just wonder if that's something that can happen, or if that even makes sense. Like, from I'm so disconnected and not associated to how the business side of things work that I would have no idea how that would go, whatever. But I think especially now, because like, even with like a lot of the podcasters and stuff like that, or the people that create content, a lot of these people are personalities, right? So they're there's people that we watch all the time and stuff like that, right? I have my people that I watch on YouTube, there's other people that watch the people they watch on YouTube, whatever the case may be. So if you were to see these people that you fuck with and constantly seeing all the time, in like a TV show or movie or some type of that type of setting, you'll be like, oh, what, such and such is gonna be on the Martin show? Oh shit, let me tap in. Like, I already fuck with this person's persona and shit like that. I'm trying to see like what, you know what I mean? And I know not all, content creators or actors or whatever, but some people just kind of have a natural dynamic personality that they that it translates well, right? Or especially if I think I was talking about this not too long ago. But what does a new version, not new version, but what does like a Soul Plane look in 2026? Meaning an ensemble cast of comedians and personalities and a story. And like, it's such a cool thing when you watch a Soul Plane and you see Method Man and Snoop Dogg as pilots, right? And they're essentially being themselves, but just in those roles, right? You know how Method Man's personality is. You know how Snoop Dogg's personality is, and they're such they gravitate people so well that you would think like, oh man, like that's why How High worked so well. They was being themselves. I'm sure exaggerated versions of themselves, right? But essentially they was being themselves, and they already had the personality to you know what I mean. But if especially you getting a writer or somebody that knows how to, or gives them to, because again I don't know how that works, because I don't know how, I'm such a low tier of when it comes to writing that I don't know how that would, who's smart enough to create something with like, because even you think about someone like Kai, like don't Kevin Hart got that movie with Kai Cenat and what's his brother's name, Drewski or whatever. I can't wait to see what that looks like. Right, because that's kind of essentially what I'm thinking. Like, essentially what I'm talking about, right? Like you have, Kevin Hart, that's like a, what I'm saying, one of the comedy legends. Then you have someone like Castanet, who's a streamer, but he has a personality, right? And then you have Drewski, who's a comedian, right, who does skits and stuff like that, but he has a personality. Like, so imagine putting them in a plot and their character. I mean, that's what they did, but I'm just saying, like, just within the floor. The only thing that sucks is that like a lot of, I think what prevents a lot of, or some of these things from happening is that like people have their differences amongst each other or whatever. So that's kind of the only thing that sucks. Because I'm sure there's so many people that you think, damn, y'all together would be fire if y'all was in a movie or some shit like that, because y'all have such dynamic personalities. But because they have their differences and everyone has their own problems, and you know what I'm saying, like everyone experiences things that they experience based on the past and stuff like that, so you can't fault them for not fucking with each other for whatever the case may be. Everyone has their reasons or whatever. But in an alternate universe, it would be dope to see certain people share the same space and be them, you know what I'm saying, and be able to create something. So that kind of sucks. I ain't giving no type of example, nothing. That's none of my business. But just from a fan and from like an observer, because I like a lot of different things, and I'm sure, and not everyone's gonna like the things that I like and whatever, and like vice versa. But it kind of but there is a disservice, I guess, to like from the art aspect of it, because there's so much dope shit that could potentially have been created, and obviously based on unfortunate circumstances, set of events, those things probably won't ever happen. But to the people that do fuck with each other and do have respect for each other and can coexist, I would love to see that type of like something like that. Know what I mean? Because I forgot what I was watching. I think I was watching something with Dante from Grits and Eggs. I forgot what interview I was watching, but it was saying something along the lines of like, damn, I forgot who he was interviewing, but they was talking about like, even at the time, like even Atlanta rappers, even if they had their differences, they didn't I forgot how it works. See, this is why I don't like talking about, I don't want how do I word this? That like, everyone was doing their thing, right? And represent. So even if people shared the same space and they might not necessarily seem eye to eye or rock with each other, they didn't allow that to compromise, like the bigger picture, right? But anyways, all right. Okay, we gonna talk some Marvel. I guess Marvel got to be a whole segment because Marvel got a lot of shit going on, bruh. And forgive me, this is my first. Like, I know I've kind of like jotted notes and shit before, but this time I'm trying to go for it, dog. I'm trying. And my fucking face hurt. Y'all, I know y'all see this shit right here. This shit swollen. Like this side is goddamn clean, but right here it's like swole. I gotta goddamn set up a dentist appointment, and this is why I need a woman. Women are so good at like, no, you gotta do this, that, third. I'm over here. What I do? Me and Google Gemini, my girl, right now. You help me find out everything. All right, hold on. We gotta watch this Doomsday trailer together. Hold up, man, because I didn't talk about Doomsday at all. Let's see this. Mind you, I don't. Hold on. God damn. Wait. There we go. All right. So, you know, it's funny. I know I wonder, because like for me, my algorithm, there's a crazy ass hype for Doomsday, right? But I hope it's the same thing worldwide, because I really don't know, right? Because the Infinity Saga was always building toward Thanos, and you know how like every movie, or almost every movie, shared like one of the stones, and like they'll have like a small little preview of Thanos, or if not Thanos, you know, something in reference to the Infinity Saga because the Infinity Stones. While the Multiverse Saga suffered from a lot of bullshit, I do think the shit with Jonathan Majors was fucked up. I don't think they should have let Jonathan Majors go. I think that's fucked up, because actually, if you and to be honest, you know, you gotta be fair across the board. The person that plays Namor, he had a similar situation that Jonathan Majors had, and they kind of swept that under the rug. And I'm fucked up how, like, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know if it was thinking, like, oh, we gotta keep Namor, but fuck it, we could just let. Nah, that's fucked up. I don't. And Jonathan Majors was so good. And finding out that, you know, like, you know what I'm saying? Clearly, based on everything that took place, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, whatever. They got their negative press for what they assumed thought was going on, but that, you know, that white girl fucked all that shit up. That's fucked up. But I kind of feel like it's fucked up because the guy who played Namor had a similar circumstance, and they kind of just brushed it under the rug. So I don't think that's fair, because I think Jonathan Majors was an amazing Kang. Right now, if they surprise us and Kang is in the movie and Jonathan Majors in the movie, that'd be fire. But I also think that's not fair, especially considering everything that's going on with like a lot of these shows that are being canceled. Especially a lot of these shows are black leads, like, you know, we're not getting a season 2 of Ironheart. We're not getting a season 2 of Wonder Man. We not who else? Who, you know what I'm saying? Blade not fucking you know, Blade has been postponed or whatever. I'm sure they're gonna take Marshall Ali's Blade. Either they put him in Secret Wars or they put him in like a Midnight Suns movie. I literally just played this whole goddamn trailer and didn't say nothing about it. Hold on, let me yeah, it's kind of fucked up. Right, what do, Matt? We do this. That's cool little so I feel like they dropped the ball. Even if the plans was to change, because, you know, all right, what initially Marvel, when after the Infinity Saga, whoever took over Disney was like, oh, we gotta pump out the Disney Plus shows, and they just watered down the fucking brand. Now granted, there was some really good movies in the Multiverse Saga. I ain't gonna hold you. Obviously, No Way Home was hit. Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, I don't know if it was super critically acclaimed, but I really loved that movie. That was a good movie too. Even the first 4 shows, which was, I think the first 4 shows outside of She-Hulk, I think She-Hulk, that shit had too much padding. Like, that shit, why, I don't see why that show had so many episodes in comparison to the other ones. But WandaVision, amazing. Captain America and the Winter Soldier, amazing. And Hawkeye, amazing. I love those 3 shows, was phenomenal. But I don't know, like, now I don't know what they're gonna actually do with the TV show characters, right? Because even another thing that I think was some bullshit too, and I love Spider-Man Brand New. I love Spider-Man Brand New Day. But why didn't they include Rosario Dawson's character at the end? Like, they cut out her scene, even if it, because again, Spider-Man, they do Easter egg shit all the time. Because I heard one of the reasons was, oh, it's gonna confuse people, continuity or something like that. How? Like, the beginning montage of Spider-Man Brand New Day, you had random fucking characters that just came out of nowhere. Like the, you know, you had fucking Tombstone and fucking Boomerang. Like, they literally had just a scene, and then fucking, and that was it, right? Like, how Rosario Dawson's character being like a doctor or somebody to help Spider-Man, and man, I'm sure that scene was no more than 5 minutes long, right? And they could have had, and so the people that know would have been like, oh, that's dope, and you know what I mean, and they could have you know, it would have been for those fans, and the people that might not necessarily know who a character is, she just would have been a doctor. So I don't think that was right either. I don't think that was right. You know, I'm not, you know what I'm saying, you know, I'm not criticizing nothing. I'm just saying, I think that would have been a nice touch to keep that in there, because I'm sure it wasn't even a long scene. And you know, these, you know, because right now, outside of, I think Daredevil season 3 is the last. I think it's that was greenlit because they're pretty much already finished it. And I think something else and the Vision Quest, they're having a show because those were already done before they made the decision that they're canceling all the TV shows. I guess they're gonna focus on movies. But what happens to all these great characters and arcs that were never necessarily finished? Are y'all gonna put them in the movies? Right? They gave goddamn Ironheart a curse mark. You like, what the fuck happened with Ironheart? You know what I'm saying? At the end, that was a really good show too. But how are you gonna conclude these characters unless you're gonna have some amalgamation movie? Like, you know, I think Ironheart, based on the circumstance, she'll fit in the Midnight Suns movie. I do think if they're not gonna do nothing else with the Marvel Netflix characters, they gotta make like a street level Avengers type movie with like Luke Cage and Punisher and Daredevil, and put Spider-Man in that bitch because he's a, you know what I'm saying, he fits into that street level world, and have them all fight against Kingpin. That'd be great. Now I ain't talking nothing about Doomsday. I am excited for Doomsday. Me personally, I'm excited. I am 36 years old. I was born in 1990. I got to bear witness to in real time the X-Men movie coming out for the first time. I got to bear witness to the Spider-Man movie coming out for the first time. Matter of fact, my mama let me stay home from school. We went to the first showing of all these movies. Maybe not the X-Men, but for sure Spider-Man. Sorry, mama, I didn't put you on blast. She's like, oh, well, you stay home today. We're going to go watch Spider-Man 12 o'clock. And I think it's actually fired to the fact that they was able to bring back this cast of characters that played these roles for over 20 years and are able to continue their roles. I think dude that plays Cyclops looks perfect as Cyclops, and they did justice with like his uniform and stuff. I don't know if they'll do this in Secret Wars, but like I think what's the dude name? The guys from the First Class, like who play Magneto and Charles Xavier, they was really good casting for those characters. But I don't know if they would actually use them. But the fact that you got Patrick Stewart and what's Magneto name? Magneto. You got them retrieving their roles, and they, they're so old now, so it's ill that they was able to they're gonna be in this Avengers level movie. And apparently the whatchamacallit, apparently the big like the movie opens up with the X-Men, because apparently what's going on is like all these universes are crashing into each other, right? The whole multiverse is unstable. The X-Men universe like, nah, we not letting our planet blow up, so we gonna blow up the other planet before it blows up our planet. So supposedly the movie opens up with the X-Men going to Sam Raimi's or Tobey Maguire's universe and trying to blow that shit up. And Spider-Man is supposed to be this big ass fight scene with like Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus and like the characters from the the Spider-Man universe fighting against the X-Men. Clearly, the X-Men gonna win. I don't know what Spider-Man gonna do to Magneto. Like, you know what I mean? You Spider-Man, yeah, I love you. One of my favorite characters of all time, but you not doing nothing to Magneto. So apparently the movie opens up like that. But right now, so I wonder what the plot is, right? Because they're saying that Doom is supposed to trick everybody and say that, oh, I got a way that we could prevent our universes from being put together, but then at the end he tricks them, and then, you know, he got to fight everybody, and apparently he wins. But what I think, me personally, I think the intro scene is actually true. I think that's going to happen too. Dr. Doom's going to be manipulating everyone from the back end, convincing people that that they could save the multiverse. He's going to trick them, and I think at the end there's going to be this big ass battle in Latveria. And it's gonna be like all the Avengers and X-Men and everybody versus like Doom and this army that he's created. But what I wonder is, are they gonna show Battle World, or are they gonna have a piece in Battle World before the movie's over? Because like they make it seem like the movie's gonna end with Doom sitting on his throne and being in Battle World. But I wonder if they'll give us like if they combine all the planets together and they give us like the last third act on Battle World. I don't know. I'm wishing for too much, because I also thought that I promise, I know I was wrong, completely wrong, but in Brand New Day I was so convinced, like, nah, it's not. Sadie Sink might be Jean Grey, but maybe it's a symbiote, because the way that like people were like moving and like she was jumping from one body to another, that kind of looked like a symbiote jumping from host to host. But that was me wishful thinking. Because apparently the in Spider-Man Brand New Day, the original story had to do with Null and Venom, but they scrapped the idea. I guess I'm sure it's because of the performance of Venom, but I hope they put that in the pocket, and in the Secret Wars they use that as a subplot. Because you know you're gonna have Spider-Man's gonna have the black symbiote. You know you're gonna have Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire in that bitch, and that'll be a perfect way to lay to rest the Sony characters that were all trash, because all the movies was whack. Outside of Venom, I think the Venom was straight. The first Venom was good. I did like all the Venoms, but it wasn't, you know, it just felt like it was missing. How you make a Venom movie without Spider-Man? It don't make no sense. That's like making a Dragon Ball Z movie without Goku. This movie's about Vegeta, huh? Yeah, everyone loves Vegeta, but you can't make no like a live action Dragon Ball Z movie about Vegeta without Goku is crazy. So that's exactly how it was. So oh my bad. So I wonder how what Secret Wars is gonna look like and what the plot conveys. And you know they're gonna bring back, you know, Tony Stark, Iron Man. So that'd be something else that's dope. But Doomsday does look good. They just need to step up the hype train. And apparently the trailer that they showed at Comic-Con is not the same one that because they dropped this right before Comic-Con, and then they dropped a trailer at Comic-Con that was really Doom centric. So you could go on YouTube and see like the recorded version of it or whatever. And I think this is an ill way what they're doing to promote, because I feel like Marvel is leaking shit on purpose, and like, wow, you know what? This is random, but this goes back into. Remember, I was telling y'all that I'm reading that techno feudalism book, whatever. What's the name? Techno feudalism, right? In the book, it was saying that with how technology is now, and like how you call it, how things are now in society with technology and shit like that, that a lot of these things we promote for free, right? Think about how many, even right now, I'm talking about Doomsday. This is literally free promotion. Even though I probably got like 5 fans. Shout out to my 5 fans. I love y'all. But even, you know, this is all, think about the hundreds of people that have YouTube videos that are doing this is all free promotion. This is all a part of it. So I feel like Marvel peep game, like, all right, cool, let's leak stuff out. People are going to talk about the leaks, build up hype, and we're putting no marketing dollars into it. And then when we build the hype up enough, so when we put marketing dollars behind it, then the shit's going to be flooded, because then it gives everyone, now you spent money. Like, think about the Chair Watch video. That was no money into that. I'm sure there's some, but I'm like, you got a fucking video where a camera's panning the names of characters' chairs, and it was like an all day thing too. That what marketing was behind that, or when they started leaking, and like a lot of these scenes and stuff started leaking. My bad. A lot of these things started leaking, right? And whatchamacallit? A lot of these things started leaking, and there was no fucking like what's this? Is this real? Is this not? Like they're showing us real scenes, and people are taking these scenes and then putting in AI, and then upscaling it so you think, oh, this is fake, but this actually might be real. There's some leaks that came out not too long ago, right? Where you seen like Shang-Chi fighting Doom, or Steve Rogers running with fucking Thor, and they was fighting Doctor Doom, and it looked fake. But now in retrospect, like, well, hold up, this actually might have been real. These might be scenes that they don't even use. They just had in the tuck, or they filmed. They're like, all right, let's put it through an AI machine and let's just throw it out there and let's build up hype because people are gonna talk about it. Like a lot of those, even we see a lot of those photo shoots where you had like the X-Men in their costume, but the costumes are a little different. That's the AI changing the photo so that they don't copyright strike or whatever. But the leaks were real. So I am interested to see like how a lot of this stuff plays out, and like, damn, they actually show, like, there's a scene they also show too, because they said that the Wolverine and Tobey Maguire's characters die in the beginning of the movie, right? It's like the leak or the rumor or whatever. I believe in Doomsday there is a subplot with Wolverine, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and Deadpool, like going through the TVA, and they're becoming like the TVA Avengers or whatever the case may be, right? That's what I think. I think that was a real scene, but like when you see it, because these scenes again were put in through the AI generator, right? But when you see it, I'm like, oh, that kind of look real. But you see a Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, but the symbol is different on the back, or there's like little differentiations, which is what an AI thing would do. They're not going to show it exactly how it looks like. They're going to show it. They're going to change it up to what the AI could do or whatever. So I am really interested to see like how much of what we've been fed through like the leaks is true, because a lot of Brand New Day was true, a lot of it, but even a lot of it was true, but it didn't do justice to how good the actual movie was. Like the things that caught you by surprise or mattered were all character and story driven. Like, oh, we all knew Sadie Sink was Jean Grey for the longest, but the way it happens in the show, the way that it happens in the movie was like, oh shit, it makes perfect sense. And like we didn't know the nuances of why they used Jean Grey, or like we knew that Hulk was in the movie, but we didn't see how the Hulk was going to be used in the actual movie itself. So I do think that they did such a great job. I do think they did such a great job. Whatchamacallit, putting like throwing the information out there, but still hiding enough to where like you see the surprises, and it doesn't do justice to how the thing is filmed and how everything is shown. My only concern with Doomsday is that they already finished wrapping production and they're still writing shit for it. So it's like, how y'all not done? This movie was supposed to come out before Spider-Man, and then they pushed it after the fact so they can have as much time as they want to, do what they have to do, because they gotta go for it. You know what I'm saying? There's no way that they're gonna have all this time before Doomsday comes out, and they're like, oh, this got to do better than Spider-Man. So y'all better put Tom Holland in that movie. Yo, fuck. Because even, I ain't gonna lie, there's only one thing that I was like, oh, I could have been, you know what I'm saying? I seen it differently happening. Was at the end of Brand New Day, like the post-credit scene. I feel like it was. I don't know. I kind of feel like it didn't say nothing. It was just like, oh, you see the Spidey tracker, it glitches, and then it shows Spider-Man in space. Like, okay, like we couldn't have got something hype for Doomsday to go. It's like, even though I think am I tripping? Is D23 this weekend? All right, like, is D23 coming up this weekend? I guess we're gonna have a lot to talk about next week on the podcast, if that's what the case may be. But yeah. But yeah, I do hope Doomsday is fire. I really hope Doomsday is fire. Damn, I want to talk about X-Men 97, but I'm not sure. I think I might wait till the next pod to talk about it. Cause our last episode was crazy, but I gotta rewatch it again. Cause X-Men 97 has actually been really good. And then they showed, that ending with Apocalypse, and it looked like he was dead, but he was inside of Gambit's body, and then Gambit is alive, and they're like, oh, we gotta Gambit's back alive, but Apocalypse is in him. So I'm wondering like what the fuck is gonna happen. And I don't know if next week's episode is the last episode or the part 1 of the. I thought it was 10 episodes, so we'll see. So I think I'll talk about X-Men 97 next week. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm like really in pain right now. This shit really hurts, and I'm really trying my best to, you know what I'm saying. Thank God I'm a talker, because this is how I'm getting it through. But I am in pain right now. The pain. Where's the fucking thing? Yeah, no, that's some stuff I want to talk about, because I still want to talk about X-Men 97. I want to talk about the Black Panther casting. And this is a side note. I'll talk about this more in detail why, but I think Miles Canton should play Miles Morales in Spider-Man. I'm just saying that would be perfect casting. And in the new Black Panther, I would love for the girl from Sinners to play Storm. I think she'd be perfect for Aurora. Perfect. Like damn, what's the actress name? Hold on, we gotta first. Let's go ahead, man. Hold on. Yeah, I gotta do better with the notes. All right, David Johnson is playing the new Black Panther. I haven't seen anything that he was in, but because let me see. Yeah, I'm not too familiar with, because I know he was on The Long Walk. I think he was on one of the Alien shows or something like that. So I'm not familiar. I'm just started watching shows and movies and shit back again for real. So I'll probably tap in. But I like, from what I heard from a lot of people, that's like that he's great. And then even hearing the story of like Ryan Coogler hit Kevin Feige up and was like, hey, I think I found him. Like, I found him. This is the one. And Kevin Feige was just like, I bet, like let's go for it. So I definitely trust Ryan Coogler on some movie stuff. Man, like I said, to me personally, I think Sinners is the greatest movie I've ever seen. But that's my opinion. I don't know if it's my favorite movie. I think my favorite movie might be like House Party 3 or some shit like that, because that's like something I used to watch all the time as a child. But like, as far as like impact, like I've seen Sinners like I think 3 times in the movie theater, and I cry in the same 3 parts or 2 parts, where it's like, oh my god, this hit me. And I just think this is one of the greatest films I've ever seen ever. It is the greatest film I've seen in theater and had amazing theater experience. So I trust Ryan Coogler with the decision, with what he's doing. So I know that I don't know what Black Panther 3 is actually going to be about story wise, but they said supposedly it's going to deal with like space or something to that effect. But I hope they introduce Storm, because in the comics Storm and T'Challa have a relationship. So I think it's dope that David Johnson is playing Chadwick Boseman's son, rest in peace Chadwick Boseman, and being like T'Challa Jr. Because that way it doesn't mess with the relationship that T'Challa's character had with. Hold on. You're late. Okay? You're fired.
I'm late. First of all, you never gave me a time.
What do you mean? We didn't. Hey, Serenity. But I'm on the live right now, so again, be mindful of what you say. But I kind of wrapped up Power season 2, so we'll talk. I'm trying to watch season 3. I'm gonna watch season 3 this week, or hopefully, if not, then we'll chop it up about it. But my bad. I was talking about the Black Panther casting right now. Are you okay?
Okay, Jose, hold on. Let me call you back.
All right, go ahead, Mama. You know, I hate when people do that. They call you, and then, all right, let me call you back. You talked to me for 3 minutes. Not even. That was 40. How long was that? 45 seconds. Um, but oh my God. All right. So hold on. I do think. Hold on, Sinners. And you know what? Hold on. Sinners. Because I do think both things can be true. So who I would love. What her name is, Jamie Lawson. I think she would be a perfect Storm. I think she'd be a perfect Storm. She got the look. She looked like Storm. She's beautiful. I think she's a like a newer actress. So give her. Well, I mean, I might be wrong. I'm not. See, I can't be talking. But I'm familiar with her through Sinners. She's been in a lot of movies. I'm tripping. She's in the Batman part. She's in the Batman Part 2. Who she plays in the Batman Part 2? Oh, that's dope. I didn't know that. Bella Real. Who's Bella Real? Oh. See how DC snuck into oh yeah. She was a politician. Damn, that's crazy. She was in the Batman. And of course Batman Part 2. That's fire. She gotta play Storm though. She gotta play motherfucking Storm. But also Ryan Reynolds. What? Hold on. My bad, because I'm not. Wait, hold on. What's this actress's name, man? I'll tell you right now. Cause, hold on. Cause he wasn't talking about Halle Berry. Cause all right, so purportedly Ryan Reynolds is doing a Deadpool 4, right? And he wanted I forgot the actress's name, but he wanted her to play Storm, and I be hating like some of these people, especially in the nerd community. They was hating like, no, she doesn't look like Storm. Or hold on, man, I'll tell you right now. Oh, what's this actress's name, bruh? Now I gotta look through goddamn. Google home, cause it's not showing me, but hold on. I'll tell you right now. Google don't want to show me, but what's this actress's name? I mean, Halle Berry would be great to come back as Storm, but damn, I forgot the actress's name, bruh. I'm sorry. I'll probably remember next time. But Ryan Reynolds is making Deadpool 4, right? Or it's in the process of writing Deadpool 4, and they was saying how he wanted a specific actress to play Storm, right? And like nerd community honed like, no, she shouldn't play Storm or whatever. She's not. She doesn't look like, right? But two things can be true, because what I think they're gonna do is after Doomsday and all this shit's over, I think they're end up gonna go back to separate universes. So we're gonna have the MCU X-Men with the MCU cast and this and the third, and then the Fox universe could live in its own little thing. And a character like Deadpool, he could jump in and out of, you know what I'm saying? That's the type of character he is. Like he's the break the fourth wall, so he could kind of exist wherever he wants. So I think both things can be true. The Ah man, what's this actress? Now it's just bothering me, bro, because she's really good. I just don't remember what she's in. Say right now. Oh, that'd be hard. Hold on, man. Yeah, that. Hold on. Damn, I'm pronouncing her name wrong. Cynthia Erivo. She wants to play Storm. That's what Ryan Reynolds wants, who's pushing for it, for her to play Storm. I think she should play motherfucking Storm. Like, cause I think Ryan, like with Deadpool, and with Deadpool and the way that they can make those movies, it could be its own thing. They can make like a multiverse X-Force film, and she could be casted as Storm and whatever. And then in the MCU, because they're obviously the MCU, the X-Men are going to be younger set of characters. You get what I'm saying? And then people say, no, she should play Storm. They should do. Nah, I think they can't. Both things would be true. They could cast like the MCU Storm, and then they could still have another Storm and use it in the Deadpool, where you could still have Hugh Jackman and have John Berthol's Cable, and you know what I'm saying? Come on, like now at this point, you don't gotta. Everything doesn't have to be streamlined. You could have its own, especially a character like Deadpool that he breaks the fourth wall and goes from one thing to another. I think both things could be true. But they gotta do that justice. Nah, they gotta do that justice. I think she's an amazing actress. Like, so I think she'll do great. Damn, a lot of people. Shit. I don't know. There's a lot of people that can play Storm. But whoever, man, I just trust Ryan Coogler. I know he gonna make a crazy decision. I think that'd be dope. I think it'll be so dope. Let me see. Yeah, so I think both things could be true. Now I will talk about the Marvel Wolverine game. We can talk about it another time. I'm about to end the pod right now because I am hell of in pain right now. And again, so anyone that's been tapped in, watching, experiencing me in whatever capacity, I'm still trying to figure all this out, even though I am in episode 21. And 21 low-key my favorite number. And because it's a Puerto Rican baseball player that carried the number 21. He used to play for the Pirates. I think it's Roberto Clemente, if I'm not mistaken. Let me see. But that's always been my favorite number. Oh yeah, hold on, I'll show you right now. I can do this. We'll end the episode here on Roberto Clemente, because I'm not even too I'm not super big on sports. Said basketball when I was tapped in. Hold on. But this brother right here, he Don 21. He was a Puerto Rican baseball player. He used to play for the Pirates. So it's funny too, because in Puerto Rico, you see a lot of people wearing the Pirates hat, and then they'll have like the 21 on the side. It's for this brother right here. Anyways, this is episode 21. Slow steps. Again, I just want to say thank you to everyone that's been tapped in, anyone that's been giving me any type of their time. I just want to express that I'm truly thankful, and I'm doing my absolute best outside of even doing everything I got to do to become a man and stuff like that. But I hope everything's well, everything's blessed. Y'all stay high vibrations, all that good stuff.